Gentlemen, it'll disappoint you and it'll disappoint many people, but we have come to the debating time. Tonight, history in the making, as we are joined by the leader of the Liberal Democrats, Nick Clegg, the Conservative Party leader, David Cameron, and the leader of the Labour Party, Gordon Brown. And you, Gordon Brown, will start.
When I was young, my father...
David Cameron. David Cameron.
I think one of the biggest things we must do is we try
Nick Clegg.
I think we need to be clear with you, open with
Gordon
you.
Brown.
The key issue here is, will we take responsibility?
Mr. Cameron.
And I say it's
Mr.
a
Cameron.
right of recall, right to petition.
Mr. Cameron.
We've got to remove this dark cloud
Gordon
of the
Brown.
deficit. Hang on.
Brown.
Well, I've just got to say that...
Mr. Cameron.
That's a very...
Briefly, Mr. Cameron, and then Mr. Clegg.
Why won't
Make sure that happens.
I've got to deal with the health service.
Mr. Cameron.
He cannot give us a guarantee
Mr. Brown,
about
thank you, Mr.
specialists
Cameron.
for...
I say again, there's something wrong
Mr.
when...
Cameron, thank you, Mr. Clegg. Gordon Brown.
That's why
Gordon Brown. Let me bring David Cameron on that point.
St. Petersburg and Moscow.
Mr. Clegg, you mentioned it earlier.
Is that
Mr.
really
Cameron.
that important? Let me answer that directly, because I think it's important.
Nick Clegg on that specific
We've
point.
spelt out exactly with that.
Gordon Brown.
Well, I don't like...
David Cameron.
Nick Clegg. Nick Clegg.
Nick Clegg.
This is crazy. Stop this grotesque spectacle.
Gentlemen, I'm going to leave it there, so let's go to the audience.
Good evening. I was born and still work in Burnley.
Thank you for that. Next.
I own a pub.
Helen Elwood there, who runs a pub with her husband.
And people like to chat over a drink.
Okay.
How certain can you be?
Who knows? Let me just clarify precisely that assertion. Mr. Clegg, can you clarify that assertion?
No, let's play football.
Heat of the moment, sorry, I do apologise for that. Now, debate that. Gordon Brown.
The important thing is that I've got two big balls. These are the biggest balls in Britain. Look at them now.
David Cameron.
Gordon Brown is dealing drugs in the House of Commons.
Nick Clegg.
David Cameron, you suck. Actually, quite simply, just fuck off. Sorry, I couldn't see Nick.
David, you fucked it. Cunt.
David Cameron.
I think we should all be frank. You know, politics has been in a mess for all of us. We all had dreadful drug problems. There are still 3 Labour MPs in court at the moment. And I would love to stop smoking crack. It's a great idea. I'd love to do it, but just not at the moment. Think about it like this. Give me a crack and I can go on doing what I do.
Gordon Brown.
The key issue here is, will we take responsibility for a better form of politics? We'll cut the costs of politics by half as a result of the fact that we're allowing 6 dancing gorillas to take over the House of Commons before the end of the financial year. Now that's the way forward, to insist on the highest standards.
Nick Clegg.
We all know we've got this great black hole in our public finances. And that's why we've got a plan, fully costed. We have one specific tax that we want to introduce to help fill the black hole. We would impose a 10% tax on political bullshit. And here are the figures: £15 billion, £400, £17, £100 billion, things like 20%. There are billions and squillions of pounds around that we can pour into the huge black hole in our public finances.
Mr. Brown.
I'll be honest with you, I would not recommend that at all.
Fuck off. It's not just, numbers plucked out of thin air. I've listed some of them. It's the perfect solution. That's why I think this is so important. A tax on bullshit, I think, is now unavoidable.
David Cameron.
And I think that's just not fair. We're going to cut the cost of politics. We're going to cut the size of the House of Commons. We're going to keep the contemplation suite and a massage room and get rid of the rest of it. We could quite as well get by with 10% fewer MPs, and we could spend the money on helicopters and, crack. Replace Parliament with helicopters. That's the right answer.
Gordon Brown.
We need lots of MPs dancing around the country, all round. Now, the Conservatives cannot dance at this point in time, but the guerrillas are helping to train these bastards. That's the way forward, and that's what we propose to do. And David, please, no more helicopters.
David Cameron.
Gordon Brown is Britain's biggest arse.
Brown.
But I think the main point to recognise is this: David won't give you cancer. And I'm afraid the Conservatives are totally fucked up. They are wankers. Look at them. Arseholes.
Mr. Clegg.
Well, look, these two constantly argue about things like helicopters and duck houses and all the rest of it.
Fucking duck houses. I want a big helicopter the size of the House of Commons. The biggest helicopter in the world. Because if you think about it, our army, our navy, our air force all have helicopters. Why on earth should MPs and Parliament be any different? Just give me a fucking helicopter.
Brown.
And I say to him, kiss my arse.
Mr. Clegg.
Man, they need heroin. But let's not get obsessed about mythical savings in political helicopters. We've all got different ideas. We have ideas, proposals, David Cameron has ideas, Gordon Brown has some ideas, but I don't think any of us, and you don't hear this from politicians very much, I don't think any of us actually, if we're really honest with you, have got any ideas that keep our society together. Why don't we, for once, given this is something which I think is bigger than any other party, actually work together? And huge lashings of good old-fashioned bullshit, I think would really help.
If you're in an old people's home and you're in that home for more than 2 years, you can be guaranteed a seat in the House of Lords.
When an MP breaks the rules, their constituents should be able to throw that Member of Parliament out of a helicopter.
Gentlemen, we have come to the end. Good night.